Detroit, Michigan. But let's talk about Errol the Truth Spence. Says that he thinks about different scenarios in fights of him losing, him getting hurt, or him coming back to win, or he says that every fighter thinks about losing. You know, he got 300 outcome possibilities in his brain, and all this type of stuff. So you know, him losing and all that stuff, and he says that every fighter thinks about it. Let's talk about it. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Next subscribe button is the bell icon button. Hit all notifications, increase your chance to get notifications. We go live or drop a video. And I mean, shit, it is what it is. You know, that's what he think about, and you know, that's kind of like, you know, where he going with it at. And I mean, Terrence Crawford said, you know, he think about losing, but he mentally strong. He get it out of his head right away. And Errol say every fighter thinks about losing. They just too macho to admit it. And you know, I mean, I remember out here talking about Drew Brees. You know, Sean Payton was talking about Drew Brees, quarterback. He used to play at Purdue and New Orleans Saints, Chargers. And when they bye weeks, Drew Brees would basically be out there playing football by himself with no football, just imagining where the throws at. And you know, so you know, having a vision is very important part of the plan. I just call what he doing is being mentally prepared. And he said he do this for every fight. You have to be mentally prepared. If you don't envision it, or you don't, you know, see it happening, okay, if it happens, which is a chance, you know, you're in a sport of inches and it do happen, you don't know what to do. Now, in the gym, there probably are scenarios in, you know, in which they should work on those type of things. When to clinch, when to hold, how to take a knee. When you take a knee, look at your corner. You know, some things you have to be able to prepare for. You know, do they use eye patches just in case you get a cut over your eye, and go in there and spar a couple rounds with one eye? And you know, I think those are things that you should train for. But envision is something. You know, having a vision is the first part. You know, now should he publicly come out in a minute? He says I'm realistic, so I ain't mad at it. I'm sharing some of my vulnerabilities on YouTube. You know, some things you go through, you just look back and say, damn, you know what, I was tripping. What was I thinking? I knew better. I be making mistakes and I know they mistakes. I be trusting people and I be knowing I can't trust people. All them is life lessons, but he right, you gotta have a vision. So, you know, and he might not have the most, you know, it's, you know, it's hard. It's some fighter somewhere saying, yeah, man, you know, I feel and want to say I do the same thing. But you got to be mentally prepared. You got to be, in my opinion, you got to be mentally prepared. But do it sound, you know, cool? Or I envision myself getting hurt and coming back to win. And I mean, he did it versus Ugas. He got hurt and he came back to win. But he done said some suspect stuff leading up to this fight. Even my homies that really don't even follow boxing like that sending it to me like, dog, why is he saying, oh man, I'm a 54-pounder now and I'm outgrown 47. Why is he saying that? At the end of the day, he might go in there and feel the best he ever felt at 147 and might end up staying. Maybe something ain't going right in camp. When you add all this together, the conspiracy theorists gonna say, well, he ain't having a great camp. And I seen on boxing, I think he was talking to the reporters after the fight. Well, he ain't having a great camp. But you know, like I said, you just gotta mentally prepare yourself. And I agree with having a vision. That's an integral part of having a game plan. You know, some people say, well, I don't even let losing cross my mind. That's fine. I don't have a problem with that neither. But some things that he done said and got people perk their ears up and open their eyes like, this dude don't sound too confident. And you know, Rolly basically said it seemed like Crawford knows something that we don't know. And all this can mean a whole bunch of nothing when you get into the ring. Trust me. All this didn't like Spence wanted to fight, and well, maybe you thought Crawford didn't want to fight. All that shit go out the window. But you also can be defeated before you even get started. You can. We done seen guys get there with Mike Tyson. They were defeated before Mike Tyson threw a punch. Why was Holyfield so successful versus Mike Tyson? He didn't believe the hype, even though he had already allegedly punked Mike Tyson. But that's a whole other story. But he didn't believe the hype. He didn't believe the hype. He didn't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype. He didn't believe it. He did not believe it. But, you know, he says sometimes I see me losing. But when you a champ, when you usually arrogant, you don't think about that shit. You don't think it can happen. And when it started to happen, a lot of them dudes, and I tell you all the time, you got them high confident fighters that don't think they can lose, you just and they shatter. You know, but being mentally strong and all that shit, dog, that's a gift. And I believe life can prepare you to be mentally strong. You know? But I mean, you add all the stuff that he said up, and it do come off a little suspect. It do. But come Saturday, it ain't gonna, you know, come Saturday night or Sunday morning when we get a victor, this might be a whole bunch of nothing. This might be a whole bunch of something. Because it's easy to go back in hindsight and say, damn, I should have picked up on this, or damn, I should have picked up on that. It's easy to do that. Some guys got false bravado. I remember I knew when Charles Martin, I say this sometime, I remember when Charles Martin was he was fighting Anthony Joshua. I still think he got a chance, but he was, you know, running his mouth, and I walked just like a guy said. I told my boy, I said, this dude acting. He don't believe what he's saying, he just acting. And I was right. I was right. He was acting. Sometimes you can read certain things and you just know. Earl, I can read into him saying, you know, oh man, I can't make the weight, this, that, and the third, and he might go out there and have the best performance. Crawford might get old overnight. Crawford might, you know, not have his best camp or might not be there. You just never know in a fight. It's not a 7-game series. You hear Crawford saying, I ain't gonna have to worry about no rematch clause. I'm gonna win. He seems like a very mentally tough guy. And for Earl to do what Earl do, he seemed mentally tough. And Terrence Crawford has in the past talked about, guess what? Going through different scenarios. Remember he said, I had many visions about me fighting Errol Spence. And Chris Algieri said he told him that I'm going to beat him. He said, I don't know if he really believes it. I don't know if he's going to beat him. This years ago. I don't know if he's really going to do it, but he really believes it. He really believes it. But I tell you this, my best performances when I compete, let's just say playing Madden or whatever. My best performances when the chips on the table. I remember I played with my boy Dooney, man. We was playing in the Madden tournament. We would play in the dorm. He would beat me every time. But in the tournament, like I say, when the chips on the ground, I smoked that nigga. He got mad in the motherfucker. He didn't want to talk or nothing. I made it all the way to the finals. I lost to this kid from Florida, from Fort Lauderdale. I should have switched my team up, but I ran with who brought me to the dance. I ran with Cleveland. It's like 09. I ran with Cleveland 08, 09. It was a bad matchup versus LT though. But yeah, man. Like I said, man, they made the more pressure on made me focus more. When I come in a situation, even when I used to fight in the neighborhood, when I was overconfident, most of the time I would lose. or it'd be too close for my comfort. Unless the nigga was just a blowover. You know? So I always like to kind of be locked in and focused. I'm always, when the chip's on the table, I'm that type of performer. But that's just me. Sometimes the bigger the moment, the smaller the person gets. Sometimes the bigger the moment, he stay the same. I ain't got no problem with that neither. Going right into some more rain. 90 degrees and rain. But I'm not gonna read too much into what Errol Spence saying about the wave and some of the suspect. He crying about the coin toss, and I ain't gonna read too much into that. That wall. But some people might read into it and run with it. They might. But I ain't running with it, man. But hey, let me know what you girls and guys think. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, and subscribe button is the bell icon button. Hit all notifications, increase your chance to get notifications. Go live or drop a video. Financially want to support the channel, Cash App, $CJ Good 313, Venmo CJ Good 313, PayPal link in description. Shout out to Boxing as well to wait till our playlist.